Timpana, which is a Maltese Favourite. It's basically our G-fill fine, but it's put into a pastry case. Okay, so I've got lots of stuff going on here today. Just give me a moment. This is a new little toy I've got. So basically, I'm just getting some butter ready to be able to saute some of the veg to get ready for the sauce I'm going to make. Okay, so I'm going to make a very rich sauce. This is my sauce that I make all the time, and I've shifted 10 different ways for different recipes, whether it's a bolognese or whether it's going to be for a timpana or whatever it's going to be for, okay? So I've got plenty of fresh ingredients here, which I've already prepped up to try and save a bit of time as usual. Okay, so I've got canned tomatoes, I've got onion which I've diced up, parsley, fresh basil, garlic, some oxo cubes in case I need them. I've made my own stock. I'll explain that to you as we get along. I've got some fresh cheese. I've got some beautiful fresh ricotta from the store that I got today, and I've also pre-boiled some parboiled some rigatoni, which is only half boiled. You can see right there, it's still very, very hard. Okay, so that's how we want it to be, because it's going to finish the cook-off in the timpana case. All right. The meats I have. Okay, my selection is, I've got a combination of pork mince, I have a combination of meat mince, and also a good old favourite, the corned beef, alright? That's going to go in, we need the flavour, alright? I love it, anyway, each to their own. So, I'm going to start by sautéing the onions. This is a cracker little hot plate I bought, by the way, just the heat that just comes out of it is just magic. It's very controllable as well. This is my first cook on it, but yesterday I was mucking around with it and boiling water and trying little things on it to see how it handled the heat. Awesome little gadget. Saves me being clustered up in the back of the kitchen there trying to show you a video concealed under the range hood and everywhere else, alright? So I hope you can see this a lot better as well. That was another aim of this. So onions are going on the saute. As I said, this is my sauce. This is my sauce. It's probably not different to many others. Just make sure you use the freshest ingredients you can. It'll make the best out of any bolognese sauce you do. Sometimes when I'm making this sauce, I'll stop before I add too many herbs into it, and I'll cut a little bit out for my children because they probably won't like the rustic taste in it. And I'll add, believe it or not, half a can of tomato soup in there, instead of adding the tomato and all the other ingredients. The kids love it. It's nice and sweet for them on their bolognese, you know, when they're doing a spaghetti bolognese or whatever. Okay, so that's sautéing nicely. I might just crank the heat up just a little bit there. Back in a little bit more butter. Now, don't be overly concerned with the meat that you get. If it's got lots of fatty content in it, that's fine, it's good. We'll drain it out before we continue to cook. Once it's melted through the pan, we can remove the extra fat, especially out of the bully beef, alright? And it will just be a nice lean dish. It'll be just as though you bought, you know, the lean mince from the butcher shop, alright? The reason why I go for the full fat mince is for the flavour. If you put everything lean into your pot, you're going to taste nothing but cardboard, alright? So get some flavour in there, drain out the excess fat if you're worried about your health or anything like that. Just drain the excess fat out of it and job done, alright? And let the fat surrender itself through the meat and whack the flavour through it, alright? That's sautéed nice and soft there now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in some garlic. This kitchen smells great already. Sautéing's the best. Right, so what I'm going to do now is, pardon me for getting out of camera, is I'm going to set this to one side and I'm going to get onto the mince and brown it up. Alright? Now, don't be overly concerned if things are a little bit undercooked, because it's going to sit there stewing away for a long time now. This machine's beeping because it senses no pot on the burner. There we go. So we don't really need any oil in this, because basically we're going to use whatever's retained out of the meat, the fat. So that's the beef mince. There's some pork mince in there. Okay. Now I'm going to make a rather large timpana, so it's all going to go in, the bully beef and all. So I just want to brown that up and get it all apart. There we go. And then for those that are worried about all the fat and everything in the bully beef, it'll all just render out and it'll drain out, okay? So only the good flavour will stay in there. Trust me, all right? Okay, back in there with my chopper knife. Might take a bit of time, there's a fair bit going on in there. Crank this heat up a little bit. Escapee. Okay, it smells good, so it's starting to fry up. As I said, if it's not cooked through, don't really concern yourself because it's going to sit there simmering away for a good 45 minutes with the stock and the tomatoes in it. And it'll definitely be cooked through by the time you put it into the timpana sauce, alright? Okay, it's doing a good job there now. Hopefully you can see it all. Oops. Andrew's messy kitchen. Okay, that's all mixing through nicely now, so I'm getting all the meats blended together. Now it's going to pack some more flavour in it. Okay, it takes a little bit of time. Once I assemble the sauce and it's ready for the simmer, I'll stop the video and then I'll move on to stage 2. I think you guys know what a simmer looks like, alright? So this video is for the younger generation who never got to see mum and dad cook authentic Maltese food because mum and dad were out working, earning dollars for the family, double income families. That was my generation, okay? My kids barely ever watched me cook, so a bit unfortunate. I cooked a lot. Yeah, you know, they never had time to watch Dad cook, you know, busy doing their own little things, you know, studying university and doing whatnot, so all they ever knew was dinner time. And that was pretty much the same. Now, I was fortunate, I got to watch my grandparents cook, I got to watch my mum and dad cook, so I got to watch it all. So these recipes are all in my head. We never did timpana at home, but we did lots of vagina fawn. I just moved it on one more level in my generation for my family, and I started making timpana myself after I saw it on the cooking group. Okay, so that was a few years back now, and I haven't looked back. The cooking group has taught me a lot of things, alright, so if you're a new cook and you want to learn how to do Maltese food and you want to do nonna's cooking, stay in that group because you will learn a lot without realising it, okay? This is browning up really nice now, so we're getting ready. And if it does look uncooked, that's going to be the corned beef, all right? It's already red, okay? So you can't make corned beef look cooked. Okay, that's really coming out really good now. Now, in a moment or two, as this continues to brown up, there may or there may not be juices on the bottom of the pan from the fat rendering out of the meat. It's your call whether you drain it out for your own personal reasons. Me, I'll leave the fat in there. Right now, I just had some blood tests done. Doctor's confirming that I'm still good to go, so I'm just going to keep eating as much fat as I can until they tell me to stop. Alright, so fat is flavour. Okay, that's browned up really nice there. Alright, a little bit more to go. And it's all melded together now, so you couldn't define one piece of pork from one piece of beef, and so on and so forth right under the corned beef. Alright, so that's looking great. So we're going to return the veg the saute, which is the garlic and the onion. That onion, you won't even see that in the timpana. It'll just dissolve away to nothing, but leave a beautiful sweetness into the sauce. If you do see a little bit of onion in there, it'll be fine. It'll be nice and soft. It'll bite through nicely in the sauce. It'll be just beautiful, all right? So, and the reason why I'm making such a large dish is because I'm making 2 timpanas, and if there's any meat left over, I'll just make an open agine, all right? In saying all that, I've cooked a lot of rigatoni and I might throw some out. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But we'll see how we go. So, all right. So that's basically all the browning done. Okay. All the meat's cooked. Okay, I can see that there. It's probably 95% cooked. Don't worry about the rest of it. As I said, it'll simmer in. That looks great. Okay. So I'll talk about my stock. So what I did is I went through the fridge today. Turn this down just a little. I went through the fridge today and I just basically found some zucchinis, carrots, celery and some leek. Chopped it all up really, really fine. Okay, put it on a slow simmer for about an hour and a half. Kept on topping the fluid up to it. And that's built up a really beautiful vegetable stock, okay? You're not going to beat that. You can try the Vegetar, whatever you want. This is natural, okay? And this is just the way that you want it, all right? And it's going to wax some flavour through. It's going to put veg in the dish without the bite of it, all right? The flavour will be there. Okay, so that's starting to steam out nicely now. And we're ready to start putting our stock in, so I'll whack this temperature right up. And we're going to start by getting some tomato in there. So that's just 2 cans of chopped tomatoes. Just whatever flavour you like. I use Moody, by the way. That's a bit of a can opener lid there. I use Moody because it's really rich. But it doesn't matter. Just use whatever you use, okay? So we're going to try and get some colour in there. Now I've got some conserva on the side there because I know I'm going to need a lot more to get my colour into this dish because it's so large. We want a nice rich red sauce. We don't want it to look anemic. Okay, so I've got some conserva there, which is going to go in. We're going to get that rich colour. You can use tomato puree as well if you don't want to use canned tomatoes. It depends what you want to do. Okay, so that's coming in nicely now. I'm going to get some colour into that. And we can always add more conserva as we go along. Alright, so we'll just get the colour in there first. So it makes it rich and red. So I'll put the rest of that in. Might use a knife here, get it all out. This is the Three Hills conserva. It's the sweet one. It's not like the Legos, all right? Doesn't have any bite in it. The kids love it. The kids love the sweetness. They don't like the Legos. I don't like it either, to be honest. I'm going to wind this down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to get some herbs in there. So I've got my favourite, chopped parsley, fresh chopped parsley, as you can see, fresh as, just chopped it this morning. I'm going to throw that in the sauce. Basil, fresh basil, straight off the plant. We're going to get that in there as well. Okay, this kitchen's going to start smelling amazing quite shortly, alright, so. Oh yum, smell already. That's it, starting to get some red flavour in there. I'm actually going to whack in probably another can of tomatoes, to be honest with you. I'm not happy with the distribution of it. But I'll give it a bit longer, see how we go. Okay, so that's pretty much the essence of the sauce. And the trick behind it being flavourful and everything else is a long slow simmer. A good 1 hour simmer on a low heat, walk away from it, do other things, you know, line your pie cases, you know, your timpana cases, or whatever you want to do. But that, my friends, is going to be one very beautiful sauce, all right? Now I'll get my stock in there, hard bits and all. Okay, it's probably as good as we can go at the moment. Look how rich that looks, guys. Okay. Now I'm going to let this sauce simmer away. I'm going to use the rest of the stock in the simmer. So as the fluid reduces, I'm going to keep topping it up. When that's empty and when the sauce is runny, in a good consistency to make to mix with the pasta, that's when it's time to get it off the boil. All right. So we need to get this to a right thickness. Okay. It's going to be a sloppy sauce to use, so that way the sauce transports itself all the way through the rigatoni. All right. We don't want empty shells. We want them to be full. All right. That's how it's going to be. So we're pretty good there. While you're gone, I'm going to whack in one more can of tomatoes to make this a rich red colour, and that's about the size of it. So simmer down on a reasonable temperature, just so it just bubbles away gently. Okay, it's going to take about an hour for me to do it. I've been known to render this down for 4 or 5 hours and just keep continuously topping up the fluids gently until you get it right. Okay, the longer the better. You want the tomatoes and everything just to all bind together in flavour. All right, so I'll leave you here for now, and I'll see you soon. Everybody, back again. Pretty much I've reduced the sauce as I wanted to. I've also cooled it right down. So basically, I hope you can see that well. I've reduced it down to a nice wet sauce. It's cooled off a lot. It's still warm. But as you can see, that has just come down to a really nice fine sauce, all right? What I did is I skimmed some stock off the top, and that'll help me control the wetness that I want when I'm going to mix it in with the rigatoni, okay? I'm going to fold some ricotta through that and some Parmesan cheese before I start combining everything together, okay? So we'll get started on that. I've got some beautiful ricotta, which I bought recently, okay? Very nice ricotta there. So I'm going to fold some in. I have clean hands, by the way. All right, so we're good. Okay, so I'm going to fold that through the dish and see what it looks like. And add a little bit more as I go to the consistency that I want to get it to. It's coming out nice and creamy already, but I'll keep going. I bought 750 grams, expecting to use around about 500. Okay, let me just grab a towel there, sorry. Okay. Let's keep folding it in. Now we're going to add some a block of cheese that I had some tasty cheese, kick it around in the fridge there that it's needed to be shredded and put into something. So, but I'll put that in a little bit later after I've combined the mince, the bolognese sauce with the rigatoni, because otherwise it'll stop it from getting through all the tubes, okay? It'll just turn into a sticky mess, all right? I'm gonna add a little bit more there again. I think that's about right. Okay, so this is gonna be nice and creamy. It's gonna have some smoothness to it. It's gonna be an easy texture to mix through the rigatoni to get the timpana going. Okay, that's nice. That's about the way we want it right there, okay? You can see, definitely see the ricotta running through it. No two doubts about it, it's got ricotta in there. We're gonna throw some parmesan in there. This is pecorino. I buy it already shredded. This is much easier. Sometimes I buy the block and I go for broken my own. Pecorino is an important ingredient in most Maltese tagines and sauces, all right? It's got a kick to it. It's a really nice flavour, and it's just a must-have ingredient, okay, when you're doing anything like this. It's traditional too, by the way. Okay, so I fold that in nicely. The rigatoni, as I said before, it's only half cooked. Okay, you can see that, it's still sticky as well, okay? I haven't rinsed it, all I just did was drain it out, all right? So that's how you want to run with it. So I'm gonna throw some in there. I'm gonna throw a little bit of wet sauce in the bottom. And we're going to get all this to work out. We want all the rigatoni to try and get some sauce through it, okay? We don't want hollow posts inside our timpana, all right? So that's all going to happen nicely. So we're just going to fold it all in gently, get a little happening. Going to use my stirrer here, and we're just going to add and go, all right? So stir it through. Okay, we want to get that sauce through all the rigatoni, all right? So we're going to try, oops, piece by piece and bit by bit, and it's all going to happen for us. I'll add some more of each. Go slow, there's no rush to doing this, all right? If you're making timpana, it's sort of a dish you're going to create in a hurry for dinner, quite obviously. It's going to be one of those things you're going to make on a Sunday morning. Spend most of your morning doing it, all right? It's not a fast sauce, all right? So as you can see, I'm controlling the texture of the sauce myself. And as I said, while you were gone before, what I'd done is I added another can of tomatoes because I wasn't happy with the colour of the sauce. I wanted it to be a rich red and it wasn't. So I've gone and done that, and I simmered down twice. I used the rest of that stock, the original stock that I made, the vegetable stock. I used all that, okay? This is coming out really good already, okay? Okay, so let's get going. We'll keep mixing it up. If I've got leftovers, lucky me, because I'll make an open argine instead of a third timpana, all right? And I'll have that for dinner tonight, and I'm going to give my timpanas away to possibly my mum and a friend. After I've cut one open for you, of course. I want to cut one open and show you what we've done. All right, so we need a bit more moisture in that sauce, without a doubt. And then what we're going to do is I've got half a dozen eggs cracked and whisked, and I'm going to run them through. I'm going to run them through the rigatoni as a binding ingredient. The other bind is going to be the tasty cheese, but to make sure it all binds and holds together when you cut a slice out of your timpana pie, it's going to be most definitely held together, okay? It's not going to fall apart when you cut a slice, all right? So this is coming together just good, okay? We're filling up all those little rigatoni holes. I hope we're getting in there. Get some more sauce in. Whatever's left over, I'll end up using for a bolognese tomorrow night. Maybe spaghetti bolognese for dinner or something like that. So there's never a waste in the kitchen. I might cook too much, but I don't really throw a great deal away. All right, so this is all happening just nice. I'm going to fill up this because I think I'm going to have enough room here for an open argine as well. Okay, so without the pastry casing. Okay, so let's get it all happening. Yum, look at that. That's going to be beautiful. Okay, so let's get in there and let's keep moulding with it. Let's repeat. Okay, let's get some more sauce happening here. Getting to the messy part of the dish. As a matter of fact, I'm going to save myself some for a pasta dish tomorrow night. Sometimes I just wash my hands and get him in there and do the job instead of this scooper. Does a more thorough job. I'm just trying to be courteous for you guys. Okay, so I move some stuff away here because it's going to start looking a little bit messy. Yeah, I really can't wait to hook in, honestly. Okay, see how the rigatoni is holding its shape because it's only half cooked. Okay, it's not flattening out, it's not doing anything wrong. We're getting some of the pasta sauce through it, okay, which we're trying to do right there. Okay, and it's all happening the way that I intended. Now, it's a bit of a catch-22 situation when you're making a timpana because you want the sauce to be wet, but you also want the pastry to work out as well. So it's a bit of a catch-22. It's taken me a while to work it out. This is about the way you want it. A little bit wetter would be okay, it's not a problem. But don't go too dry to avoid it just being a horrible dry dish that just falls apart. Okay, so now we're going to add our binder and some cheese. Okay, so we're going to throw a little bit of cheese in there, not the whole lot, just enough to put another taste through the dish. We're going to whack our egg in, our binder to hold everything together in that pie casing. We're going to save a little bit there just for washing the pastry on top. All right. Okay, that's turning into something right there. Some people just eat it like this, you know. I don't mind it like this. I wouldn't have put the egg in it, obviously, but like this. Some people can't wait until it gets to the oven. I used to be one of those kids hanging around mum, asking for a small bowl, tugging on her skirt while she was cooking in the kitchen before it went into the into the oven. Okay guys, I'm sure you get the full hang of this right now. So that's pretty cool. So that's already loaded in the pastry cases. I'll just move this out of the way. I already pre-made, pre-rolled the pastry out into the cans, into the pie cans, to save a bit of time. So I heavily grease the pie cans, so I'll get them out of the fridge now. And the pastry's already in there, so it's just ready for me to load. All right, so I've pretty much preloaded 2 cans, one round one. These ones have the bottoms that push out of them, okay, so that's going to be easy for me to turn these out of the can. So what I've done here is I've basically made an envelope, okay, and the reason why this stayed in the fridge is to keep the pastry working well. Otherwise the pastry will just not do as I want it to before it goes into the oven, okay, so that's nice and cold, okay, it's pliable, it's workable. The second it thins out, it turns into junk. Okay, so let's load these cases up, put the lids on, and then I'll turn the video off, and then you'll come and see it on the flip side when I've pulled them out of the oven and when I'm ready to turn them out, okay? That is golden, look at that. I don't think many people are going to be unhappy with this dish when it's done, honestly. Okay. Now, the sauce will dry out because the rigatoni still has to cook a bit more, and then that will help dry the entire dish out and get it ready for carving up when it's cold, all right? So I'll load that up. Now this is still going to expand, it's going to rise because the rigatoni is not finished cooking yet. It has to grow somewhere, so it's going to grow upwards, all right? So we've got this here, we'll try and get the sauce all the way around it. Try and load a lid on with a bit of dignity without looking like a mistake. That's going to be great, look at that. Okay, that's one. I'll load the second one, and I'll probably have enough, just enough there for an open aubergine when I'm done, if I'm lucky. Okay. Alright, looks like it's going to drink it all. That's okay. I'll keep one pie for myself. Looks like I'll be keeping one pie for myself. Okay, so we're nearly done. Nearly loaded. Oh, that's actually by accident. Very good proportions there, which filled up 2 pie cases perfectly. Okay, I'm going to put the juice in. And the rest of that in. Okay, so that's cool. We'll get it out there. Now the fun part, putting the lids on the cases. Alright, so I'll finish this off. Okay, try and get it out to the edges nicely. Okay, one moment here, clean a little bit of a mess. Alright, so time to get the lid on. So I basically half a sheet on the side of the can, half a sheet is going to fold over. Now this is going to be the bottom of the pie. So when I turn the pie out, this will be upside down, so I don't really care it's going to have a seam in it or anything like that, alright? So I'm not too concerned about it. What my only concern is to make sure it's sealed properly. So that way, sorry, I need a fork. That way it's sealed properly to make sure that the pie itself closes up. Now I'll just work this edge here a little bit. We're going to make a steam hole to let the steam out and let that pie keep cooking the rigatoni. I've got the oven preheated right now. That's going to go hard. I've got that on about 220 degrees Celsius. It's going to help the pastry rise fast. Everything's already cooked. Alright, all we want to do is to bind it, thicken it, and get the pastry to rise and to crust up. I've just used store-bought puff pastry, nothing fancy from Andrew's kitchen. I don't emphasise myself in being able to make pastries and use them in dishes. It's just a time thing. I want to learn, but you know, how much time do I have to learn? I've learned so many things over the last few years with the Maltese cooking group that you just don't have time to do lots of things, especially when you're a working person and you want to get a feed out for the family. I have a career, I'm a motor mechanic, I run my own workshop and I have staff that work for me, so I can't dedicate all my time to cooking as much as it's my favourite hobby. I just have to be able to get on with my day, and I don't think making pastry or making bread at this stage in my life is going to aid or benefit me for anything apart from taking time away from my family and my kids. Alright, so that's pretty well one case down. Let's clean it up. As I said, this is the bottom of the pie, so I'm not really caring about that stitch in there. The bottom of the pie looks nice. I'll put one even flat sheet in there. Okay. Well, the bottom of the pie at the moment anyway. Alright. So that's going to do its job nicely. It's just going to seal up. Now I'm going to need to get an air hole in there somewhere. So we'll just play in the middle. Okay, let that pie steam out. The second pie, same thing basically. We'll prepare the circle. It's ready to go down. It's ready to mould into the sides. Can't believe I got the volume of sauce and pasta correct just for 2 full pies. That worked out just a treat. It's going to rise. Okay, so alright, let's get the fork in there and edge that up. As I said, appearance isn't anything. This is going to be the upside down part of this pie as well when it's done. So this will be the base of the pie when it turns out. Right, that's really done. Now the hole in the middle. Okay, put your Maltese crosses there, or I love mum crosses there, whatever you want to do. Okay, so that's done. Last part, bit of wash. Saved a bit of egg just for that. Okie dokie. Alright, well guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to whack this in the oven at 220, sit there and just watch it rise and do its thing. I'll know when it's all done because the pie will pull away from the case of the pie tin. okay, and then it'll have risen as high as it can go, and the pastry will look golden and flaky, and I know we're done. As I said, we're not waiting to cook anything. We just want things to bind and dry out, and the rigatoni to finish cooking all right, to expand. All right, guys. So that's one pie ready to roll, one timpana, square one ready to go. I'll see you guys when it's all out of the oven. Thank you. Hi everybody, back again. This is the end of the chapter. This is my final process. I got the timpana out of the oven. I set them on some soup cans and bottomless dishes, okay? As soon as I set them on the soup cans, the slide just stood straight off, okay? Make sure you grease your pie cans like you're greasing an axle on a truck, honestly, all right? These have cooled down enough now for me to carve open. They're still warm. You're not going to want to cut these open while they're hot because the pie will actually just collapse completely. The sauce will still be wet and runny, so don't do it. So just be patient again like you are with the budina and all the other stuff that I make that are in pies. Just take your time with it, enjoy what you've done, and don't ruin your dish at the last moment by cutting it open while it's hot, all right? Now I'm going to cut one open for you. I haven't worked out which one I want to do. They're both the same, I believe. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip a coin. I'm going to go heads for the round one, tails for the square one, all right? Looks like I'm cutting the round one, okay? So let's go have a go at it, all right? So anyway, so I'll get the square one out of the picture. So I sat these on pie cans and the bases just came straight out, all right? It was absolutely gorgeous to see that I've done it correctly, greased them properly. Okay, it's still nice and warm, this pie. I'm hoping I don't ruin it by being a little bit premature with the way I've cut it out. Let's see how we go. I can tell already it's going to hold well. Oh, yum. I think I've done it quite well, guys. Let's have a look at this. Andrew's timpana, Andrew's recipe for all to share. Let's have a look. Still a little bit wet. That's okay. Have a look at that, guys. Alright, had I let that cool down, warm up for, say, another 20 minutes, let it cool down. That sauce would have been congealed and hard, and it wouldn't have come out of the bottom of the dish, but that's okay. I mean, that's still a good cut. So I'm going to enjoy this 100%. Okay, so no two doubts about it, guys. There we go. Andrew's timpana, I hope you enjoyed. If you did miss out on my last YouTube, I made Nana's Padina. Okay, have a good look at that one there. This is one to make. I used marmalade in the dish, and it's got a really good orange punch to it. It's almost like eating a Jaffa, honestly. You got your chocolate, and you got your rinds there, the citrus in there. It's actually a beautiful dish. Okay, so have a look at that one. At the other YouTube video, it's a two-part video. I'm going to enjoy this one. I'm going to let the other square one cool off for a bit longer. And I'm going to send that one over to the family. And I'm going to attack this one over the next couple of days. I really hope you enjoyed my video. I've enjoyed making them for you guys. Do me a favour. Please like them. So that way I know where I'm going with this, if people are enjoying them or not. Otherwise, leave some comments there. Let me know what you want me to cook and I'll have a go at it for you. I don't have a problem in the world at all, okay? I'm enjoying my Maltese cooking and I'm enjoying sharing my recipes. These are my own recipes. I've made all the mistakes, okay? So when I do a recipe for you, it's going to work, all right? Just follow what I say and do, and hopefully it'll just come out the way that you want it to. As I said, the mistakes have been all made by me, and I've made these 100 times each before I show them to you on video, all right? God bless everybody. Take care. Thank you.